Someone forgot to tell the market that the Mark 18 killed the pistol caliber carbine because we've got more PCCs and chassis-based pistol systems in the year of our Lord 2024 than I would shake your stick at, more than we've ever had in the past 20 years I've been in this business. And we've got the newest one today, and it's one of the most innovative I've seen, the FLUX Raider P365, the smallest, thinnest 9mm PDW you can get. This is truly an on-body concealable PDW. We're doing a full review today, along with an accuracy test comparing the P365 Macro pistol against the Raider PDW. So what is the P365 Raider? We did an interview with the guys from FLUX where they debuted this gun at SHOT Show on our sister channel, TFBTV Showtime. Here's an abridged version straight from the FLUX's mouth. Feel free to skip ahead to the next chapter if you want to go straight to the discussion, review, and comparison. Oh shit, what was that?
This is the Raider 365. It's the PCC in your pants, PDW in your pants.
I've heard that one before.
Yeah.
Basically, you bringing some of the functionality of the FLUX chassis we were all familiar with, using the 320 FCU, but now you guys are doing this for a 365, so it's much smaller.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So it actually has a little bit longer length of pull, and while it's about 1.25 inches smaller than the Raider. We have a couple different iterations where you have an auto deploy, so as soon as you release it from the holster, that'll deploy, or you have a button right here. This is actually a 6-inch barrel, and yet it's easily appendix. I can tie my shoes like this. I mean, I don't know, man. I appendix carry every day. I compete with it. So this is the stock version. We have little rubber butt pads coming. We also have a brace that is very, it's basically just cut out right here for your arm. This is the unlock button right here. You just press that down, and then it'll fold. And then normally it would lock in, but
what am I buying? If I've got a Sig P365 at home, what am I getting from you? What do I need to supply myself?
Replacement grip module is what you're getting. You're basically getting everything but the firearm, or the FCU. You need an FCU slide and mag. We may eventually do some, assembled systems, but right now we just sell the chassis.
And this has the double mag well, just like the Big Brother, right?
System as the Raider, the speed load system, so you can reload very quickly.
Got one magazine up here, my spare mag up here, my hot mag right here. Yeah, give us a little demo.
So this is your primary mag release, and then this is your secondary mag release. You just push this forward a little bit. It'll do just this magazine, but if you want to reload super fast, you just press in all the way.
Love it. One of the best features about the FLUX chassis. I'm getting all of this, basically, if I buy the kit. How much does that set me back?
We're not entirely sure. It's going to be more than the Raider X. It'll be under $1,000 for sure.
So if you're familiar with the 320 Raider, same thing but smaller. The big takeaway, this may be the first true inside the waistband concealable 9mm PCC. FLUX's first major product, the Switchblade style FLUX Glock stock, is also on-body concealable, as I've shown in my review of it years ago, but that's a Glock with a stock. The Raider is a standalone platform itself with significant advantages over just a stocked pistol. First of all, you get better control because you can get a support hand forward of the grip with the Raider shroud. Second, the P365 Raider is about as thin as it gets by virtue of using the 1-inch thick slide and frame combo from the P365. Third, you have more options to accessorize the Raider for tangible performance increases. For example, the 6-inch barrel from True Precision, it'll be available. That'll give you much better ballistic performance from 9mm than anything you would get from like a standard pistol or the P365 itself. Just jumping from a 4-inch barrel to a 6-inch barrel with 9mm gives you about 100 feet per second increase, about 10% more energy, give or take. And FLUX has a whole suite of possible accessories in development that I'll talk about in just a moment. Fourth, you get the Raider's trademark dual magazine setup. One magazine in the grip that you're firing from, right? And one magazine in the forend that can be swapped quickly into the active mag well. There's the standard magazine release button at your thumb that will drop just the active mag, or there's a button directly behind the forward mag well that will drop both magazines and make swaps super quick. That's a quick look at the benefits, but at the end of the day, you're looking at a pistol with a stock on it versus a true standalone PDW. The Raider itself, not a gun per se, because the fire control unit on the P365 is the serialized legal component of the gun. The trigger pack is legally the gun, meaning you can swap that fire control unit from frame to frame to frame, and you still only have one gun. I asked Sig to call this the Hermafro trigger, but they decided on lame and boring fire control unit. If you have a P365 already, then you've got everything you need to build out a Raider kit. You get the frame, you get a stock or a brace, and you get a shroud that allows you to get some additional purchase up front and also stop you from blowing your thumb clean off. And again, this is not a gun, it's a kit, so you can just buy it through the mail. The kit will work with any P365, although Flux recommends against using any of the macro comp guns with a compensator because that comp could divert gases up into the shroud area, cause damage to the gun, maybe injury to your support hand. I'd say either is unlikely, but I ain't using this with a comp. Now, Flux will package this with either a stock or a brace. Brace option if you don't want to form one your FCU, or a low profile stock if you do. There will be a short stock that'll fit flush when folded with a small weapon light up front, and a long stock that gives you as much length of pull as some AR-15s, and it'll fold with a Surefire X300 installed. The stock deploys easily from a tab on the right-hand side of the frame, but if you buy the holster for it, you can rig the stock so it'll automatically deploy when the gun's drawn from the holster. One thing to be aware of, the butt of the stock can snag on your forearm, requiring you to lock the stock in place manually if you dick up your draw. Speaking of drawing and your dick, as the guys from Flux demonstrate, inside the waistband appendix carry with the Flux holster sold separately is entirely feasible. Not only did we find it functional with the short arm, but it's also concealable. That is, if you dress like Gray Man Ryan instead of... It's just, you know, this is what happens when you dress like a metrosexual. Ryan can conceal a lot better, dresses like a normal human being. Pink Man James, a loose-fitting t-shirt, some space in your waistband will make this gun vanish. It truly is the first on-body concealable PDW as advertised. I'm sure it's possible to conceal with the spare magazine in the forward magwell, but we found that to be rather uncomfortable, heavy, detrimental to your draw. It'll snag on your pants. Thus, when we were LARPing at the Neutral Ground Gun Company range in Airby, Louisiana, we concealed without the forward magazine installed. You still get the benefit of having a quasi foregrip up front even without the magazine. But what about weight? The P365 Raider chassis by itself, 14.1 ounces versus 17.1 ounces for the 320 Raider. That's only 3 ounces, but according to Flux, the 365 Raider is much lighter than the P320 Raider. When all put together, a fully assembled P320 Raider in any configuration is going to be significantly thicker and heavier than a fully assembled P365 Raider. Not that you need to see it because you kind of get the picture already, but here's the P365 Raider versus the 320 Raider in terms of size. I would not try to carry a P320 Raider inside the waistband unless you're wearing old school elastic waistband Bugle Boy khakis and you don't mind that it looks like you have a waffle iron stuffed down the front of your pants. In addition to the 6-inch true precision barrel that will work with any size slide, inside the waistband and outside the waistband holsters in multiple colors and different stocks that we talked about are all going to be available as accessories. Flux is also going to release an ambidextrous sling bag. I've heard that 21-round P365 magazines are on the way. I think another neat accessory will be the forward optic mount coming from Flux that'll bolt to the chassis, allow you to install either an RMR or an acro footprint optic directly to the frame, giving you a wider field of view optic that won't reciprocate with the slide. This is probably going to translate to faster target acquisition and better accuracy over strings of fire. Fit and finish, excellent. This is Flux's first all-aluminum product, but you wouldn't know it. Grip checkering is comfy, the Raider's assembled well, it feels like a high-end product. But how does it shoot? Obviously, it's not as comfortable as the larger P320 FLUX Raider, but it's certainly manageable. After all, you're just shooting a Sig P365, but with the benefit of spacing out your grip with your support hand, having a third point of contact with the buttstock, plus it's going to be a little bit heavier. The short stock or brace, that's going to be the smallest possible usable stock in my opinion, but it is usable. I personally did not have an issue whatsoever with the recoil, but I imagine that some shooters out there, depending on your shape and size, maybe because the stocks are aluminum, maybe might butt right up against your collarbone, might find that a little uncomfortable, but the recoil is not bad at all. Mag changes, swift. Handling, excellent. Ryan and I did both accidentally deploy the magazine once each by bumping the release by accident, something to be aware of. The mag release engages by being pushed forward with your dominant thumb instead of being pushed in like a typical button mag release, so it's a little bit easier to accidentally deploy it. With the short stock, the optic is rammed right up against your face. It's actually a little bit annoying, slightly more annoying than looking at your pistol optic through full extension where it's out here, but it doesn't take long to get used to it. They also have this little eye saver horn on the back of the stock to make sure that you don't put your cheek too close to the slide, turn yourself into a pirate. I guess it would be kind of fitting, right? That a gun called the Raider makes half of its users honorary buccaneers after enough use. Another pitfall to be aware of: when we assembled the Raider, all we did was take the P365 Macro slide, the recoil assembly, we installed the 6-inch barrel, slid it on the Raider, called it a day. We forgot to remove the rear frame pin from the Macro and swap it onto the Raider, so our groups were horrendous at first. All right, that felt better, but look at that. Dude, we'll see how fast I'm shooting, but I'm shooting high. So I'm not sure about a performance advantage. But that was by virtue of the fact that the slide was just flopping around on top of the chassis when we were shooting it. Once we got that fixed, things tightened up quite a bit. I would say that's a perfect score. Now you've heard this whole song and dance, you can probably tell that I'm pretty excited about this. I think it's pretty neat. But the more savvy viewers, the cynical of you, thank you for being here. You're asking, what's the point, James? Not what's the point of a pistol caliber carbine. We're not going to go down that road, not today. But what's the point of having something this much smaller than PDWs like the P320 Raider or the B&T APC-9K recently adopted by the Army? The answer to that is this gun can be concealed on your body in a t-shirt and shorts. The next question is, well, what's the point of having this PDW so much larger than a standard P365, not to mention the fact that the chassis is probably going to be around $800 or so MSRP, almost double the price of your P365. The point is that you did increase performance. Or did you? And let's say you do get better performance. Is it better enough where the juice is worth the squeeze? Is the Raider P365 that much more effective than the regular P365 pistol? Ryan and I undertook to find out. Is there a measurable performance difference between a regular 365 Macro and the same thing in the Raider chassis? Let's find out. We tried to shoot perfect 10-round groups as quickly as possible, first at about 10 yards, and then at about 50 feet. We both shot the P365 Macro pistol first with a Romeo optic. Don't feel really good about that, but let's have a look. Oh, that's not bad. So everything in the 10 ring, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 X's. That one's close. Okay. Amazingly, Ryan and I put all 10 rounds into the 10 ring on a B27 target in the exact same time, 5.12 seconds. That's so hard to believe that I actually had to overlay both of our runs and look at this exact same time. Next, we tried it with the P365 Raider. And would you look at that? Almost a full second faster for me. I shot a perfect score in 4.18 seconds. So you can see here, score basically the same, right? It's a perfect 100, but I had 4 X's instead of 6 X's. Now, how much faster did I shoot it? A lot faster. Ryan was only a quarter second slower than me, but then again, he put every single round into the X from 10 yards.
I would say that's a perfect score.
So we both shot faster and more accurately with the P365 Raider. Let's walk it back to 50 feet. I got started a little too fast. I busted off all 10 rounds from the Macro pistol in 5.48 seconds, only a third of a second slower than my 10-yard pistol string. But I paid for that speed with accuracy. Yep, shot an 88 out of 100. Ryan took his time, spent 7.5 seconds, and got a 96 with the P365 Macro pistol. Now, does the greater separation in range equate to a greater separation in performance between the Raider and the P365 pistol? Let's have a look. Very back of the range, we're going to shoot these same targets. We're going to try to shoot them as quickly and accurately as possible, see if we get any performance difference. This versus a pistol. I mean, that's pretty good from all the way at the back of the range. You're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 nines. In 5.24 seconds, I shot a 96 out of 100 with the P365 Raider from 50 feet, meaning I was a quarter second faster, about 10% more accurate. Not to mention I'm using a gun that has 34, 35 rounds on deck and a barrel that's going to give me more velocity and about 10% more power. Ryan shot the same score as he shot with a pistol and the same score as me, a 96. But this time he did it a half second faster versus his time with the pistol. So what are my final thoughts on the Raider? Would I get one and carry one over a Sig P365 pistol? As I said, you've got the potential to kind of double your capacity since the Raider will hold 2 magazines, although it's only feeding from one at a time, but you get it. I shoot the Raider a little bit faster. I'm a little bit more accurate. I get 10% more power, more velocity. All things being equal, the P365 Raider is better in every way in terms of theoretical performance versus the P365 pistol, plus added bonuses like additional capacity and more accessory options. But that isn't everything. You also have practical considerations beyond the theoretical: concealability, price. For me, am I going to be carrying this instead of a P365 pistol? I work in an office building with armed security and a bunch of lawyers. I've got a 1.5 mile commute to a job that all but requires me to wear tailored suits all the time. Doesn't make sense for me to carry a FLUX Raider, but neither would a Glock 17 or a Sig P320 full size. That said, it might make a difference to you. Maybe your performance gap is wider between what you can do with a pistol and what you can do with something with a buttstock. I'm not saying I'm the greatest pistol shooter in the world, but I would imagine that a lot of you out there don't shoot pistols as often or as much as we do, so you might be significantly stronger with the Raider versus a micro compact pistol, unlike us. Maybe you have a day-to-day that's a little bit higher risk and allows a little bit more flexibility in terms of what you can carry. Like you live in a cold and dangerous third world country where you wear a heavy coat and you're in constant fear for your life, like Detroit or something. Or maybe an all-in-one option is attractive to you. You are a trucker. And having a gun that can pull double duty as a fully equipped truck gun with a buttstock or a stripped-down, concealable but effective platform makes as much sense to you as abusing amphetamines and smashing lot lizards. Summarized, ergo, the P365 Raider delivers tangible performance increases, but your mileage may vary in terms of whether or not the cost and bulk of this system will make sense to you. At the end of the day, I'm still buying this one just because, like everything Flux makes, it's fucking cool. It's no shit one of the coolest guns that I've gotten to shoot so far this year. You guys are the coolest viewers that I've had this year. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the program, we didn't accept any money from Flux. We're not shilling for Flux. We rely on you. Support us on Subscribestar or Patreon or Player. We give away $2,000 worth of shit a month, but we very much appreciate it and we very much need it so we can remain independent, unlike a lot of channels out there. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Take care.